o'clock. Perfect. Awesome. So it is February 23rd, 2020, and I am so excited for tonight's call. So we have a young woman on the call tonight who has done something really incredible. Really incredible. She has hit the rank of executive in 60 days, which for any of you who know what executive is, if you don't, I'm going to run you through it. But that is a massive, massive goal. I know for me personally, it took me about 8 or 9 months to be able to hit executive. For most people, on average, we have a 60-day span where we can run for Crystal Executive for the bonus. But for those of you who are new or aren't sure what executive is, totally cool. Executive is essentially our compensation plan. The very basics of it is you share with 2 people and those 2 people share with 2 people. So it's you share, they share, and it's completing that 5 times. So you share, they share 5 times, or creating 5 consultants. And a consultant is where you have a customer that shares with 2 people and helps 2 people get started. It's doing that 10 times. So 5 down your right, 5 down your left. And this woman came into Isagenix just 60 days ago and achieved this rank in 60 days, which is just absolutely nuts to me. With executive, excuse me, a couple of the amazing benefits that we have as executives is the guaranteed lifestyle bonus, which is brand new to the company. It's a guaranteed $750 additional dollars every month just for being paid as executive every day of the month within the parameters that they have. It's also a $1,000 bonus when done within 6 months or 180 days of your associate date, which is massive. And with the reset, people who are executives have the opportunity to run through those ranks again, earn that $1,000 again. Same to everybody who has not hit executive, you have that opportunity as well. And you also get 10% matching bonus on your teams or your personally enrolled cycles. So basically, anyone who you have personally enrolled, if you're paid as executive, you get a 10% matching bonus on their cycles as well. So let's say you have a team and all together throughout the week, they cycle 10 times, you're going to earn an additional $54 or 10% match on those cycles, which can grow to be really big, like really, really big, as your cycles grow, as your team grows, and as you develop a lot of leadership in your organization. So those are just some of the benefits of executive. And so I really want to have her share her story and come out and share her heart with you guys a little bit in the beginning, because this woman and I met on social media in November officially, but her story is so different and so special. So I want her to be able to come out, share how she is here right now, why she is here right now. So without further ado, let me find you, Toria. I'm going to unmute you and have you just share your story with everyone, and then we'll go into a few questions as well. Okay, unmute. All right, I think that you're good.
Solid?
Yeah, can everybody hear her? Yeah. Awesome, cool.
Oh, I'm so excited. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Thank you so much, Sid, just for your support and for this time and for the Slobans and everybody here. So yeah, my story coming into Isagenix. So pre-Isagenix, I live in San Francisco for starters, and in the tech capital. I was working at a startup actually it was an app that my friends own the company. They built it for people in network marketing. So the goal there, my role was to interview different people in network marketing and kind of, prospect them. Like I was already doing some of the skills without even really, knowing it. But I was prospecting and qualifying and seeing who could have really good insight onto systems. I was working with top leaders, like why do you have a team of 50,000 people? Why do you have a team of 100,000 people? Why are you paid 6, 7, 8 figures? Success, failure. So we wanted to pair up with these people to help build this in an app and get it out. In that, my boss, which I should kind of back up actually, my background even before that is in leadership and coaching women. It's something it's in my heart. I'm passionate about it. The Enneagram, which basically everybody in network marketing does. I'm number 2. I'm very relational driven. And so fast forward back to my previous job, my bosses told me when they saw me interact with everybody, they're like, girl, you're going to leave us for network marketing one day. And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm from the South. I know Mary Kay and Ava, like all these companies that I thought I knew, but I knew from the outside looking in, right? So I told them, no, it's not going to happen. As I began to expand in my role and meet all these amazing leaders in network marketing, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is something different. The culture here is so different to really push for somebody else to succeed, to really invest your time to help somebody in their goals, if, you know, whatever industry that is for network marketing, whatever vein that was. It was still this heart of pure help and let's make money while doing it. And what I saw was so different from what I thought I knew about network marketing as I got to really see it intimately. And that's when I fell in love with it. And I was like, oh, snap. And I remember texting my boss one day. I was watching a story of some girl in one of the companies. She had a team of like hundreds sitting in her living room. She was coaching them and pouring into them. And she was making pretty good money at that time, still growing. And I remember seeing that and being like, what are you doing, Toria? What are you doing? Like, I had a cush job. It's fine. I showed up in yoga pants. I had Uber Eats delivered, you know, like it was startup fun. But I knew there was something in me and it had been growing. It had been growing, especially being immersed in the culture, right? Your product of your environment. I was immersed in network marketing, and this calling, this higher calling kept coming and coming. And when I saw that story and it just clicked, it was like, wow, wake up, sis. Like there's something more for you. You're not stepping into your full potential, right? I'm not working with women. I'm not coaching. I'm not speaking to them and being poured into myself. So I texted my boss and I was like, I'm going to be rich. I'm going to go to the top and I'm going to leave you guys. I love y'all, but y'all are right. And they all like laughed and were like, oh my gosh, we told you. So with them, I got their blessing. They're amazing people. They're brilliant minds. And we said, okay, now let's figure out where we're going to go with this. Like, where do I want to go? Cause I do want to go to the top and I want to do it quickly and want to continue to grow. So we broke down different things from compensation plan to product to community. Cause that was the really Kickstarter for me, right? Seeing that. And ultimately it came down to isogenics. Like I grew up in a very holistic health home where my mom ripped out the linen closet, no more towels, like it's all herbs and vitamins and all this stuff. Like I was so used to it. I was like, I have to have something I stand behind. And then community, I knew, I'm from the South, y'all. You go to your grocery store, you see 20 people, you know, like everybody's there for each other. Now I live in the loneliest place in America, like statistically San Francisco is. And I've never felt as much as a community as I have with isogenics. And then the comp plan, like I know, I looked at all of them. I saw what everybody was making. Like our comp plan is incredible, you guys. So anyway, it all came down to ISA. And even when it did on paper, I couldn't really, I wasn't super excited about it from like a mind state, but there was something, there was like a pull in my heart. And so I went with it. And I was like, okay, now who do I want to really fall into the hands of? Because I know like who you're led by can dictate so much of the outcome of your progress and your success. And so in that, I surveyed and prospected different team leaders, being like, okay, who do I want to jump on board with? And there were so many that just had so much going, and it was a hard process because there's so many amazing people in ISA. And one day, it was through watching stories. I've been watching everybody's Instagrams, and I saw a story of Sid. And she was at dinner, this like fancy dinner, and she was just getting started, like, because I had followed her whole story. Though she wasn't somebody who really caught my eye at first, because I was looking for these like flashy things, right? Like what you would typically think for, or like think of. And I saw somebody had posted this story of her, and she was getting up from the dinner table at this like fancy restaurant and walking outside, and I could see her pacing back and forth and through this glass window, and she was like on her phone coaching somebody. And the person who posted it wrote like, this is leadership. Like this is sacrifice, right? And I saw that and I was like, man, this girl who's young, just getting started, is sitting down, like having a nice time, supposed to be having a nice dinner, and is stepping away to pour her heart into somebody else, to serve somebody else. I saw that and I was like, baby, give me that over like flashy money, cars, all that any day. Because if you have grit and you have service and sacrifice, that's what I want. And so yours truly, it was Sid, you know, who I was watching. Here she goes. And so I did. So then I stalked her, y'all. I stalked her for like 6-7 months. And I watched her story and I watched her grow because I was still at my company. I wanted to give that time. Anyway, all this to say, it was such a different kind of reverse role of coming into Isogenics. Instead of really being prospected, I was like hunting you guys down. I was hunting the community down, what everybody here has made. And so I know there's no other place, no other team I should have joined, no other, and that's not a diss to any other teams. Everybody has their place, and I am in the right one, 100%. 100%. Yeah.
That is so incredible. I mean, every single time you tell your story, I cry. I've heard it a million times. I've been in meetings with you, but you guys, I'm really excited to dive into some questions with you, Tori, because I've seen you operate several different times, whether it's virtually or in person. And the way that this woman operates is so by service. And so I've heard her explain this story so many times to so many different people, and it never wavers that like we all truly are in the best place with Isogenics. And every time I hear her story, it solidifies that for me, which is, it's amazing. It's amazing. So tell us, because you didn't only just, run to executive and make $6,500 in your first 2 months with network marketing. And, you didn't run to executive in 60 days. You also developed like 4 consultants in 12 hours, 6 consultants total in like under a week, or even 7, I believe. So when you came in, obviously you brought in a pretty big influx. What was your transition from enrolling and bringing people in to all of a sudden being like, oh, okay, I need to create consultants. This is how I'm going to do that. This is how I'm going to create urgency. Like, what shifted for you from the first 30 plus 40, maybe even 50 days into that last 10 days where you just like ripped it out?
Yeah. Good question. The beginning, it's like that ignorance on fire that so many people, when they come in with passion, that they just start running and they're just like reaching out to everybody. And that was me. And I was just, I wasn't very, my focus was like, it was like a dog who just like has been waiting to get let out, and like finally just open the door and the dog just runs out and is all around the yard, and it needed to get that energy out. I think that's kind of how I came into it. I was so excited. I had been in a place of need with not having all of like my top 3 reasons of ISA. And, and so I just ran with that. And the shift really happened when I realized like you can't just depend on pure passion and excitement. Like there's skills, there's tools, there's mentorship, there's accountability to lean into. When my business dipped, I wasn't being accountable. I wasn't checking in. It definitely dipped. And so it was going through that. And then it was realizing I need to step it up. Like I need to step it up. I need to take the actions that are necessary. I need to do my IPAs. I need to lean into my leadership. And that's when the shift happened. I called Sid and I told her, I was like, here's how I work, y'all. I got real, and I got real transparent. And I told her I'm really good at making things seem like they're all good. I was just very open and said, here's how I want you to hold me accountable. Here's what would help. And like I gave her permission to call me out. And when I did that, we got to work on things. We got to work on mindset. We got to work on laziness. We got to work on, am I being a little bit insecure or a little bit egotistical? The shift really happened looking inward first and having people who have gone before you to help also look in and be like, here's what I see that you don't. So that was the big shift. And then just me being like, you know what you're doing. If I don't know right now, but I said, like I told her, I said, Sid, this is what I want to do. I want to go to the top right away. What do I need to do? Y'all, trust your leadership. Trust your leadership. She would tell me to do stuff and I'd be like, okay, I don't get it right now, but I know because of my timing and my goal, like if I just do what you say, I can circle back in just a little bit, right? And like really get to full understanding. And to me, that was very valuable, how I operate. I'm also a very woo person. Like I love to go with the flow. I know a lot of people are more rigid. To me, that was so beneficial. And then having somebody like Sid too, who we have this balance of she can keep me on track, right? So that was really good. And then just realizing if this is what I want, like I spoke about a leadership role, I spoke about a role of speaking to the masses, like that doesn't just happen by creating customers, right? It was exciting, it was fun to see your business grow, but to deepen it was a whole nother thing. And it wasn't until I grasped that I was able to use that to make me really get into action. Yeah.
I love that. And I think, you know, what you said about leadership, like that's the whole purpose that we have leadership in Isogenics, is to lean into it. And I know that everything duplicates, because the same thing happened when I was running for executive. I went to Zach and Ian, I was like, tell me what to do. They told me what to do. We go do it. And when you do it and just trust that process, such magical things happen. They really do, every single time. And it's just trusting that we're in the right hands. So lean into the leadership I think that's such a good, I mean, it's like an obvious one, but such a good nugget. And, you know, what level of belief and what mindset did you take going into a run for executive? Because anyone who's run for executive, we know it's not just like a, you know, we'll just do it here or there. It's kind of, you know, like a passive thing. Like you treat it like a business versus a hobby, and it's going to pay you like a business. But what kind of mindset, what kind of belief did you have going into this 60 days and this run?
Oh my God, what you focus on expands. Like the moment I started focusing on like, oh my God, this, I didn't get this today. Like I would hear statistics, you got to create a consultant a day, you got to do this a day. Like, but then I would get like nerdy and focus on it. And then I would torture my freaking self on the negative instead of really looking on the positive. It was so mindset. And then there was also something, huge nugget, y'all, from Zach Slobin on this whole teaching. And I'm not going to attempt to do the teaching, but switching verbiage, right? He's such a master at verbiage and the power of words. But switching need from the word, like I need XYZ, I need to create a consultant to I deserve this, or my girl needs to get paid to she deserves to get paid. So instead of operating from a place of lack, it's from a place of abundance. And when I switched that, I was able to like see clear. It felt different. The way I interacted with people was different. And so that was the big switch. That was the mindset going into it, and just knowing and accepting that there's going to be moments like when I want to quit, and I cannot lean into that. Like I absolutely cannot. And then just reaching out, the moment you catch it, like freaking being on it and reaching out and leaning into who else holding you accountable, right? Yeah, was that your question?
Yeah. That's like,
I'm going super
so good. And for you, I know you calculated how many people you had meetings with during the 60 days. And I think that is such a crucial thing to talk about, because so often we're like, oh, they hit exec, it must have been luck. They just are lucky. They just know a lot of people, right? So I would love if you broke down, because I know you were very strict with using the system. You were in massive action, and the only way that you could have handled the influx of people was by plugging into the systems, being really religious with those. But like being in massive action at the end of the day is the best thing you can do, and being able to rely on our systems is the best like sidekick to that. But walk us through, like, what kind of action were you in? How many people did you talk to in 60 days? How many people got started? How many people converted to consultant? Like, how many meetings did you have? Like, share it with everyone, because I know what kind of massive action you were in.
Yeah.
And I think those numbers will be so valuable.
Yeah. It was a lot. It was knowing that, okay, there's so many ways that we can reach out to people, right? And it was saying, okay, I'm not just going to lean into one, I'm going to lean into all of them. And with that being attraction marketing and being smart with posts, stories, polls, polls were huge for me. Polls generated a lot of leads for me, because it makes people respond. They want to like interact, right? So they do. And then you get to slide into their DMs and just start conversations and start that relationship. And it was everything. It was cold reach outs. You know, if somebody new followed me, I'd have a template like, hey, you know, thanks for tuning into what I'm doing in life. Hope it's fun, you know, and then starting conversations like that. It was being strategic when I go to the coffee shop. Like if I'm on a Zoom, y'all, I unplug my headphones. If I'm not speaking, people are looking at, like, it's trying, just being as loud as I can, but just by being me. And then meetings. My goodness, it was back to back. It was, I really needed, or what was it? I'm trying to think. There was a time when Sid, I was like, you need to help me crack down on freaking lengthy talking, because I can get lengthy. And so it's taking a look at all of those things, fine-tuning how long are your meetings going, how many can you fit in a day. And then my goal was a little bit drastic. So drastic, what is that saying? Said drastic times calls for drastic measures or whatnot, whatever it is. And so that was the case. Like, I said no to a lot of things. I said no to going out and really cool opportunities, like some, like not once in a lifetime, but really cool ones happen along the way. You have to count the sacrifice and what is it that you really want. Okay, well, these are the steps that's necessary to, to get there. And so it was evaluating that. I believe it was about 181 meetings, I want to say. I know I posted about it the other day. I can't remember the exact number at this moment. But a lot of those, it's just, yeah. Was that it? I feel like I'm missing stuff. I feel like you almost know.
No,
I do.
no, you guys, I've been very involved in Toris Process, and it's been so fun because she works so, not even hard. I don't even want to say hard because I hate the word like working hard, but the way that she works is so from her heart. And she goes to just serve people, and she doesn't care how late she has to stay up. She doesn't care how early she has to get up. She got up, like, she did anything to hit this goal. I want you guys all to know that she did make sacrifices to hit this goal. She was in action. I mean, I went up to San Francisco. We were in action for 12, 13, like 14 hours a day sometimes, like all day long. We were in her messages this week. We were like, I was responding to messages with her. I was in her DM. She was in DM. Like, we were just like, she worked her booty off for this goal. And so, I know looking out, it's like, well, what did they do? I can promise you, she simply did the same actions we are all instructed and coached to do, just faster. And she condensed the entire process. Like, from watching her, that's exactly what I can say. She did everything right. But it's, taking 181 divided by 60 days, like how many, I don't even know. I don't have a calculator, but that's so many meetings per day, so many presentations per day. And really, like, if you want this goal that you say you have, are you willing to put in that work? Are you willing to give up the fun nights out with your friends for a couple weeks? Are you willing to give up those sacrifices, right? You do all those things to hit a goal. And I know that, for Tori, it was worth it for her. It was worth it for her. But one of my major questions is how, while you were in this, journey of running for Exec, because I know it was like up until the buzzer on day 60, literally an hour before the night ends, it's like the last enrollment goes through. But how did you create urgency with your team, whether it was getting them paid or enrolling them, without feeling like you were forcing them or like really pushing them? Like, how did you find that balance with your team of empowering them to help their two people get started, help them go consultant and beyond?
Yeah, that one I'm still dissecting. However, I do know that the approach I took consistently, I don't know what really drove it home, but I know it was consistent, was displaying it as is, which is, hey, legitimately, who are two friends, like, who are two friends who would want to do this with you, who would want to help hold you accountable, right? And it's simply that. Like, it was simply that. And when I really shifted to that and just made it so, like, fun and chill, because that's exactly what it is, and stop making it anything else, because it's nothing else than that, y'all. People are like, oh yeah, you know what? And then for me, a little bit of a like tactic on that is I get the names of those people on the call. Okay, well, who's your number one? Okay, Sarah. Okay, who's number two? Sally. Okay, why? And then I ask them, why do you think of them? So it automatically would generate that right then. And then I would just apply accountability to it. Okay, so by when can I check in? Like, when would you have reached out to them? So it's applying accountability. It's being smart and putting it on the calendar. Like, you got to get it on the calendar. And that's the most consistent thing. If I think of like a breakthrough being like, oh, now I just like, I had like one girl who signed up, Isabella, she's a rock star. She signed up, I can't think of the number right now.
6 people in a week.
A lot in 1 week, but it wasn't like that. It was just the small little consistent things and made it just human. Just made it very human. Not even making it human. It is to begin with. We make it something else.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I love it.
for urgency in that way. And then, and then just letting them know. My got a background. Hold on. Come here, baby girl. If y'all see my social media, y'all know I have my little fur babies. But yeah, that, and then as far as applying urgency, like I did emphasize that a bit, and it's just opening their eyes to the fact that you actually can make money and that it's fun. And to turn it around real quick, to get their packs paid for real quick, right? So that they're not like, oh, this is going to be in my pocket for this many days. Like, hey, no, we can help you get that back in your pocket in this many days for those two people. So those two.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And what do you think your biggest, whether it's from, internal, in the business, what do you think, is this valuable for all of you guys? I just don't want to go over a couple minutes if it's not, we're good? Okay. I want to go over just a few minutes potentially, but what has been one of the biggest learning lessons, whether it's, personally hitting exec, making $6,500 in your first 2 months of network marketing? Like, that's a huge deal. Like, those are all huge things, right? So like, what have been some of your biggest takeaways, some of your biggest learning lessons so far?
Yeah. Biggest takeaway is condensed into one. Yeah, I like multiple choice option. being really open, including not just being open to like instructions and being coached, but being open to, for me, hope. Right? Whenever you're like, I don't know how this is going to happen, or I don't know how I'm going to get this person to respond. I've been reaching out to this person, but being open to, hey, that is possible, or this can happen, and walking in that. It's like the power of manifestation. Y'all, I think I'm just realizing that's the biggest thing, because I didn't really believe in that before ISA. Like 60 days ago, I didn't really believe in that. But I just saw people go ahead of me who were like, no, this is it. You speak it in and you take action to back that up. So you're not just like talking the talk and not walking the walk. But I didn't think, there was times I was like, I didn't think I could do it. And then I had to switch that. So the power of manifestation through being open, through mindset shifts, through all of that, and just being stringent in yourself and recognizing when you're missing it. When you're getting down on yourself, that combined with action, combined with not being lazy, like you can't. Yeah, the moment those two things happened, it like when I stopped being open, when I stopped holding myself accountable, or allowing Sid to hold me accountable, and not taking action, everything died. I mean, it's so simple. It's really, I feel like I'm not answering the simplest question, but I feel like I'm giving the most simple answer. I think we can just complicate it with our own thoughts sometimes.
100%. And that's really the thing that I've found so often is network marketing is so simple. Like, Isagenix is so simple, you guys. And we go to work every single time to overcomplicate it, where we're like, am I doing something wrong? We get in our heads. Our nerds are telling us that we're not good enough. We can't do it. We don't know enough people, like all those things. And at the end of the day, it truly is that it's saying what we want. It's backing it up with the action. It's leaning into the support systems we have. Like, Isagenix is the perfect petri dish for us to succeed if we just believe. We have to have the belief that backs it up. And if we don't have the belief, just lean on the belief of the person who enrolled you. Lean into that belief until you have your own. I know that's what I've done. I know that's what I told Tori to do. I said, if you don't believe you're going to hit executive, lean into mine, because I know it's happening and we're doing it now. You just you gotta have the belief and build the belief in every area to back it up. But okay, so 2 more questions. We'll make them quick because they're at 6 o'clock. But first question, what would you like every single person on this call to hear? What would you love to have them know from Toria?
Ooh, I love it. Ooh. Just know that whoever you're reaching out to, whatever your reason is for joining ISA, whatever your why is, at the end of the day, we're dealing with humans. We're working with humans, and they are just as human as you are. So don't build them up. If there's somebody intimidating to you, no, first of all, you're being intimidated by them. Don't build them up. Don't write them off. Like, there's a whole conversation of qualifying and everything, but at the end of the day, we're all human. And I found some people get in their head and not move forward with things because they change how they talk or they change how they are based on some concept they made up about somebody else or what they might think. Freaking just be you and love them where they're at and know that you're just connecting, right? Like, especially just in the beginning. Like, it's just to connect and see, how can I help? Like, what's going on in your world? How can I help? That's my favorite part about this.
Yes. And you're so good at it. Okay. And last question, because a lot of times we hit exec and then we're like, okay, we're coasting, we're going to chill, right? We just like hit the rank and we're good. But I know that that's not you, because we've talked about it. And I would love to personally hear and have you share, where are you going? What is your vision with Isogenics, and what is next for you? Because I've learned personal experience, the worst thing we can do is take our foot off the gas when we hit a goal, but it's what so many of us tend to do. So what is your vision? Where are you going with Isogenics? What are you most excited for?
Yes. No, I want to go to the top, baby. And I am just getting started. And because I hit executive doesn't mean I'm at the top or am staying there. Like, I am taking action to stay there and to grow. Like, multiple re-entries, yes, please, and thank you. And I know that I just freaking nearly expended myself, y'all. I worked really hard for this. And I'm not going to drain myself. Like, I knew it was for a short time, which is how I was able to also do it. It's just a short time, but yeah, foot's not coming off the gas. Like, just continued massive action. I've really enjoyed the process of developing oh my God, I can't even speak. Of consultants. I love that, empowering other people and making them, or helping them see that they too can step into this role of influence and leadership and helping people. So that's really exciting. I'm going to look into exploring that more and yeah, but no foot off the gas at all. I'm just going to stay in action. And my dream, my goal is, millionaire stage, baby. 100%. 100%. Huge teams who are confident in who they are when they arrive to events. And if they're not, then they leave more confident, but that they're always in that journey of their identity and the effect that they can have on other people and that Isogenics can have on other people.
Yeah. I love that. Well, I know that this first 60 days is just the beginning, and the amount of work and the amount of time you've invested into your personal development and into other people is such a great launch pad for you, and it's going to create so much long-term success. And I know just by working and having my hand in with every single person that you've worked with and enrolled so far, you have such a special group of women that you are bringing up and rising, like, so special. I believe everyone in Isogenics is so special, but you have something that's going to just be so incredible. So excited for you. I'm so proud of you, Toria. You worked your butt off. I'm so
Yes.
Everyone show your love to her for pouring into all of us tonight. Thank you for your time. And I will see all of you guys on next Sunday on the next team call. I love you. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Sid. Love y'all.
Bye, guys.
Bye.